Most iconic film look in cinema history came from one single process. Everyone is chasing the bleach bypass look. But what most people are building is not just bleach bypass, it's just desaturation overlay. 7, Fight Club, Saving Private Ryan, all bleach bypass and all are completely different. In this video I will show you how to recreate one of most complex film look using a real film emulation pipeline. And the best part, everything we are using is completely free and already built into Resolve. So, what exactly is the bleach bypass look? When the bleach step is skipped during the film development, the silver remain in the image, creating higher contrast and lower saturation footage. The tool change, the era change, but the definition of bleach bypass stay the same. Every mood we build today is simply our best attempt to follow that definition inside digital pipeline. In this video, I will show you every possible approach, scene refer, display refer, and the most accurate way to recreate the bleach bypass or skip bleach look. We will start simple and gradually move into more complex method. One of the easiest way to achieve skip bleach bypass film look, just add a parallel node on top of your clip, completely desaturate the footage. Then change the composite mode to hard light. And here we go. In just 10 seconds, you can create a bleach bypass look on your footage. But there is no proper control over anything, not over the saturation and not even the contrast. But still it is one of my favorite and easiest method to create bleach bypass look for free. Let me show you another more effective way to create the bleach bypass look. I have some black magic and red footage. This clip was shot on red. In the group pre-clip, I applied my color space transform, converting from red into DaVinci Wide Gamut. Then in the group post clip, I added some fade light to convert from DaVinci Wide Gamut to Rec 709. This DCTL is completely free. You can download it from the description. You can also use alternate ODT like OpenDRT, JP2497 or a regular color space transform. The reason I'm using this so I can apply the film texture, DRT, the look in the single node rather than building a complex pipeline with 10 nodes for negative, positive, transform, curves and texture. We will start simple as possible. All we are doing is adding contrast and desaturating the footage. But here's where most people get it wrong while adding contrast. If you simply increase contrast using lift gamma gain, you will get a side effect you don't want. As a contrast increase, saturation increase with it. Then you have to fight it manually. Even then, you are probably shifting your middle gray exposure without realizing it. A much better tool for this is contrast and pivot. Here's why. It does not shift your middle gray and your contrast and pivot apply roll of compression at the extremes instead of hard clipping your highlights and crushing your shadow flats. It softens contrast as it approaches black and white. That's much closer to how film actually handle contrast during push and pull. Before increasing contrast, go to your setting, select this option, use S-curve for contrast, set Luma Mix default to 0. This helps preventing unwanted clipping. Before touch the contrast slider, set your pivot point to 0.336. That's the position of 18% gray in the DaVinci Wide Gamut. Setting it here means your middle gray stay low while contrast building around it. Now push the contrast. Watch how clean the shadow and highlights stay compared to what lift gamma gain would give you. But there's still one problem. Even with the Luma mix set to 0, it's still adding saturation to the image. And what we are trying to do here is the opposite. We are trying to remove saturation, not adding it. So the goal now is affect only the contrast of the image. Right click this node and change the composite mode to luminosity. This is the key move. Your contrast stay exactly the same, but saturation stop increasing it. In fact, visually it start pulling back, giving the image that steely, drained quality that bleach bypass is known for. That's your foundation. Simple and effective. Right now, we have increased contrast and reduced saturation. But there are still one limitation with this technique. We don't have control over the relationship between contrast and saturation. They are tied together in the fixed relation. Now I will show you a way to get full control so you can actually mix between those two rendering of the image. Add a layer mixture node. Now copy the bottom clip and paste it on the top layer. This brings us back to the same position where we started. Here I control the saturation using the top clip. Right now the bottom clip is hidden by the top clip. To reveal it, lower the opacity of the top clip to 0. Now the image you are seeing is coming from the bottom clip, while the top clip is completely off. As you increase the opacity, the top clips start mixing back in, which adds saturation back into footage. This method gives you full control over the relationship between contrast and saturation. Bleach bypass is known for very high contrast, so you have to be comfortable pushing it quite far. Now let's switch the processing mode to full ODT. Basically, we are now adding our negative stock and print stock rendering. We are intentionally gonna lose to some highlight detail. Very bright highlight become more crystalline white. We talked earlier about how bleach bypass can happen on either the negative or the print. Now let me show you what that actually means in practice. Now let's get deeper into it. So far we've been creating the contrast and desaturation that define bleach bypass. But bleach bypass can actually happen in two different stages of film, on the negative or on the print. And those two approaches don't behave the same way. They affect color and saturation differently. So before moving further, let me show you what actually happens when bleach bypass is skipped on the print. Some of most famous examples of the print bleach bypass are Saving Private Ryan, Fight Club, and Seven. When you skip the bleach on the print, something interesting happens. Your primary desaturates faster than your secondary. So red, green and blue start losing saturation first, while cyan, magenta and yellow barely move. If we look at this shot, almost everything is desaturated except the skin tones, and the whole image is pushed toward green and teal. To create this behavior, I'm going to use a film look alert but apply after ODT. First, I will change the output gamma to Cinean film look. Why? Because the LUT expects a Cinean output. Once the signal is in correct space, we can drop the print film LUT. Now remember what we discussed earlier. When the bleach is skipped on the print, primary desaturates faster than your secondary. Go to the hue and saturation curve, red, green and blue, and pull down. Now I have roughly a 2:1 relationship. My primary are about half the saturation of the secondaries. You can already see the image reacting very differently compared to simply lowering the global saturation. Now I can see the saturation knob to scale the entire image up or down, but the ratio between primary and secondary stay low because we already set the relationship. As we can see, my yellow is still saturated while my skin is bleached in the secondary. This produces a much better result. If you just reduce global saturation, the image quickly becomes flat and monochrome. But here color separation is still preserved, and because we are using a print alert, the look integrates naturally into the image. It's just not sitting on the top like an overlay. But again, the primary issue from a professional colorist perspective, it's generally considered bad practice to use creative LUTs at the end of the color managed pipeline, because if someone later wants to deliver this in HDR instead of SDR, the LUT is already baked into output. Now, let's look at the display refer workflow for the print film LUTs. First, I will import the workflow we built in the previous project. We talked about the print film LUTs inside the display refer grading pipeline by converting the footage from negative to positive. If you want a deeper explanation of this workflow, I recommend watching that video after this session. Let's quickly recap the pipeline. We started with our color managed project. In the group pre-clip, we converted our camera footage into DaVinci Wide Gamut, which became our working color space. In Node 1, we converted the DaVinci Wide Gamut signal into ACES AP0 linear. This simply bridging the image into linear domain so the next node can process it correctly. In Node 2, we apply the ACES transform, pushing the signal into ADX10. This is our negative space. Node 3 is the Kodak 2383 printer. This is where the magic happens. The film printing process, converting the negative back into positive, just like real film printing. Add another saturation node, but this time the behavior is reversed. Here your secondary desaturate faster than your primary. So cyan, magenta and yellow saturation first, while red, green and blue stay more stable. Now I can see the saturation knob to scale the entire image up or down, but the ratio between primary and secondary stay locked because we already set the relationship. Now, if you want to replicate film texture, you can add some fade light at the end of the pipeline. Set the processing mode to film texture only. This allows us to emulate only the film texture characteristic. Enable film grain and halation. Grain strength control the overall intensity. Grain color allow per channel RGB grain, which help create a more organic film texture. Halation add that warm glowing bloom around the highlights. With just one slider, you can create accurate film halation. Gate weave give you subtle natural instability of the projected film. And film damage add hair, dust, scratch, recreating the look of the old film print. If you want to go further, you can replicate the uncut gem style grain behavior, where the grain mainly lives in the midtones and the shadow and gently fades in the bright peak. Enable the 35mm silver highlight composite technique. This keeps the highlight silver crystalline clear while the grain naturally appear where it would on the real film. You can also switch to 16mm grain, which mainly change the grain size and the strength. I will show you the full free technique in the next video. Building the entire system manually every time is bit like painting on black canvas. You might get somewhere, but it takes time and the result is never consistent. So I tried building tools specifically for the film emulation process, where every stroke, the bleach process, the texture and the behavior of film are already calibrated together. And remember, the whole is better than sum of its part. Bleach bypass is not just pulling global saturation down, it's the interaction between contrast, color separation, silver density and texture. When all these pieces work together, that's when you get the real bleach bypass. That's exactly what SumOfIt 2.0 is about. We saw scene referred, display refer method. Both methods work, but neither give you real control, but everything ends up looking the same. The workflow gets bigger and more complex, not even give you the consistent result. And if you try to replicate film texture on top, that's the whole separate process. Now let me show you how the same process can live inside single node. Your starting point with this tool is already beyond where the most people ends up manually. Just simply select your camera profile, input color space and gamut. Now simply push the bleach bypass slider. With the single node, you can achieve a true photochemically bleach bypass while keep everything full adjustable. Grab a still, now switch stock and compare. Every negative and print stock has its own unique bleach bypass characters. It provides you more than 900 combination of bleach bypass look. None of them feel the same. And even without touching the bleach bypass slider, each stock base look is already beyond where the most professional colorists end up manually. If you want more dramatic look, use printer lights. This is not your ordinary printer lights. Instead of pushing color evenly across the entire image, this prioritizes shadow and highlights. And every stock reacts differently. Every channel is work against the stock own density value. So the same printer lights move on 500T look completely different on 250D. If you want to control the silver crystal highlights, you can adjust them using the highlight roll-off slider. Now you've seen the difference between faking the bleach bypass and actually building it, from beginner to photochemically process. So next time you see a bleach bypass alert, you know exactly what's missing. Go try it on your footage. I will see you in the next one.